I went paragliding in Albania for no cost because I listened to my inner voice. If you are on Earth experiencing anything less than absolute magic, you're going to want to listen to this story. My intention with sharing what I am planning on sharing here in this video today is to inspire you, to allow you to have space to go within and listen to yourself as well, and to show you more about who I am and what I do on this earth as a healer, as a guide, as a channel for light, for all the beings of light that I am surrounded by, which you are one of them. Thank you for coming to my channel. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you sharing energy with me, and I fully receive who you are in this moment. You are accepted, you are loved, and you are held deeply. Imagine me just energetically holding you as I tell you this story. Before I get into the stories for today, I want to mention that my name is Christina Aristar. I have been thinking about letting go of the Christina part of my name lately and simply being Aristar, and it's actually quite funny because a lot of my friends have been calling me Aristar lately, even though I have not asked them to, and I just think that that's cute that I have been feeling that and hearing that inside of me, and it's reflecting in my reality. It really shows how powerful what you choose to say to yourself and think to yourself is. It is felt by all of us. It's really amazing how connected we all are, and I am very much in awe of witnessing that connection to all of life. I'm in awe of watching that grow with all of us as we're all growing in our level of consciousness. So yes, I'm Christina Aristar, and I'm a spiritual coach. I love to channel and allow the voice of the higher self, of the one that I am with, to allow information to pass through. And I'm here on YouTube to share my light and shine the messages that Spirit has for us. And this day, this message is all about the inner voice. So we're going to start this time together by taking a few deep breaths. So go ahead and take a deep inhale through your nose. And when you're ready, exhale through the mouth. You can leave the eyes open or close them, whatever you feel comfortable with. Inhaling through the nose. And exhaling through the mouth. When you inhale, make sure you're filling your belly and filling your chest. If you can put your hands on your body, you can feel them expand as you inhale. And exhale. Breathe naturally. And just listen. I would love to be in your space to share what I'm hearing in my space. A song came through and I almost started singing it, but I realized that might be rude because you might be having your own inner experience, and then this lady just randomly starts singing. So I wanted to warn you. And if you feel the call to be within and to listen a little bit longer to yourself, please pause this video. Please honor yourself. Always honor yourself first. I had a song come through and it was, What do you hear? With a heart so clear, a soul so clean. What do you hear? What do you feel? An experience so real. Share with yourself everything you can. You really are your own soulmates. Your inner voice is communicating so much to you in every single moment. Today, in this video, I really wanted to talk about all the different ways that our world, our reality, our inner self is communicating with us. There have been so many names that I have witnessed. There have been so many different words that we as a society have collectively agreed upon using. Words such as higher self, ego, spirit guide, ancestor, guardian angel, so many voices. And in my personal experience, I have felt a lot of confusion around the separation of all these different possible beings that could possibly communicating all these different messages. And most recently in my personal practice as a human being, I've noticed a lot of ease and flow of simply speaking into existence that spirit is communicating with me. And even when my inner voice seems a little bit agitated or maybe a criticism comes through, I simply view that voice and those words as an unevolved version of spirit, an unenlightened version of spirit, if you will, a version of spirit that has yet to climb up the ascension ladder and get into heaven within. So I haven't been separating what I've been witnessing within me, and I find that to be so freeing and so healing. I've noticed a lot more ease and flow in the readings that I do as well. When I share that spirit is sharing a message, it's a lot easier to just say it's spirit instead of thinking it could be this ancestor or this guide or this. I'm just noticing this option that seems really easy and in flow. Of course, in a reading, if I do hear a specific name or a specific character and I know, okay, this is a certain version of a spirit guide, or this is a certain person, a certain archangel that wants to deliver this certain message, of course I'll speak on that. But if I'm not getting a clear name, a clear message of where the voice is coming from or who the voice is, spirit has a message. And sometimes spirit shows up in an interesting way, which I'm about to share with my paragliding story. So, first of all, before I even get to the part of the story where I was in Albania, I want to start with the part of the story where it's New Year's Eve. I'm in Florida and I am in one of the lowest vibrations I've ever been in my entire life. My inner world was very not nice and not great, and I was having a really difficult time. And after that night of experiencing just not a great environment inside myself, I chose to spend a lot of time with myself. I was inside for an entire week listening to religious music. I was actually listening to Christian music, and I'm not a Christian myself, but I love that music for relaxing and getting close to higher vibrations. And I was listening to this music, getting close with myself, and that was when I started to hear inside me a very kind, cheerful, loving, guiding voice that I like to call spirit. At the time, I was calling that voice God, and I believe God is in all things. I believe that God is fabricated in every essence of this experience that we're having. So to hear this voice within me and to know that it is good and that it is loving and it has my best interests in heart is something that I feel very blessed to be able to experience. And I know that not everybody on earth experiences that, and that's part of my personal mission, to bring that energy to every single being that I possibly can, to show that you can have a beautiful, loving voice inside of you, and you can hear a voice inside of you, and it's important to hear a voice inside of you. It's important to have a way to communicate with yourself. So anyways, I'm hearing this voice of spirit, and I'm immediately guided to go to France in February. And that was not the first time that I heard this guidance. I heard this guidance in May of 2022 while I was at work. I kept hearing a song in my head all about France in February, and I thought it was kind of goofy and silly. At the time, I wouldn't identify as someone that was clairaudient or hearing the voice of spirit. I thought it was just a silly song that was in my head. But then I was in my room, connecting with myself, connecting with God, connecting with spirit, hearing again guidance to go to France in February. And it was then that I knew that it was real. It was then that I realized the song wasn't just a silly song that was in my head. I was being guided. And I started to take my inner voice seriously. I started to have a serious respect for my inner voice, and I realized that it was my ally, it was my guide, and it was me, and I deserve respect, and spirit deserves respect and honor, and my life changed, very much so. That month in France in February, one of the best months of my existence here on earth. Just an absolute beautiful time connecting with myself, with nature, creating songs every day. My channel was so open creatively. I was creating so much, so many beautiful songs. I'd actually love to sing one of the songs for you right now, if you don't mind me delaying the Albania paragliding story a little bit longer. But one of the songs, I'll have to sing it in some more videos too, other than just this one. But oh, it was so good. It was when I was walking through the forest, I was feeling resentful and angry and hurt, and something within me was singing to me. So it was as if there was this broken, upset version of me inside me, and then another version of me singing to me inside me. And I began to sing out loud, and this was what I was hearing inside of myself to console me on my journey. Take all that energy and put it into a song. All that energy, the thoughts that tell you you're wrong, they're holding you, they're bonding you to a place you shouldn't be. Take all that energy and give it up to me. I want to see you free. Connect to your body, be the somebody that you decided you would be. Let the version of yourself free, the version of yourself that you truly want to be. And I truly wanted to be a world traveler, and I truly wanted to be a YouTuber, and I truly wanted to be a coach. And here I am doing that. There's no reason why any of us should be on earth doing anything less than what exactly matches our greatest, brightest images and visions for ourselves. And I feel like this is a great time to to share that I do offer really amazing, nurturing space for the realization of oneself, the connection to oneself, actualization of dreams and goals, and actionable steps that will get you there. Everything is channeled, so it's just a beautiful divine connection in my coaching experiences, which you can apply to experience one in the link in the description box. So if you just feel called to have space held for you and feel called to reflect some things back and forth with me, I would absolutely love to explore that possibility with you. I'm gonna keep going with my story. So you know you're cool when you can advertise your own stuff, your own products in your own videos. How cool is that? So anyways, sorry for the little ad interruption. Back to my amazing European travel journey. I arrive in Albania. I'm there for a few days. Things are happening. I'm having an adventure. My Airbnb that I had booked was about 3 miles away from the city. Thankfully, I made friends right away when I got there, and my friends were kind enough to offer me rides into the city, which was really beautiful. And so I got to go into the city a few times with my friends, and then there was this one day. I don't know why. Like, I still to this day, I cannot control these moments where something completely takes over me and directs me and tells me what's going to happen and shares with me step by step. I get a vision of it. I can hear like an actual voice telling me what's going to happen, and it's just, it's fun. It's really cool. So I'm in my room and I'm about to get ready for bed, and I'm, doing my regular nighttime routine stuff, and I start to get this image of me running, and I hear a voice telling me that tomorrow I'm going to run into the city to go get gelato. And I have a vision, and I can see what I'm wearing. I see my running shoes. My vision is, I've been working on this imagination for a long time, so it is like same thing as this physical reality level in here. It's really, really nice. It's possible. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. Like, just do your daily meditation and you'll get here. It's really great if you're not here already. Maybe you have a really vivid imagination too. It's possible. So I'm getting this vision. I can see the outfit I'm wearing, and then I see myself going into the city, and I see there was a gelato place that I wanted to go to the last time I was in the city, and I didn't go because I was really full from the dinner that I had. So I was like, I'll save that for later. And I was like, okay, I guess later is tomorrow. I witnessed inside of myself another voice that was like, no way. There's no way I'm doing that. I don't want to run 3 miles. I am scared of people seeing me. And there was this one part of the walkway towards the city that didn't have a sidewalk, so I pictured that as well. And so I'm starting to notice within myself often it's a conversation between the part of me that can see a very high, amazing, beautiful possibility, and then this other part of me that is afraid of that possibility. And I used to have very high levels of conflict where it was more of an argument, but lately I've learned to, I like to call it watch the play. I've learned to watch the play. I've realized that my consciousness, my inner being, this landscape within me, it's a stage. And there are these characters that come into my stage and into my arena. And this is one of my favorite tips. One of my favorite tips with inner world workings is you need to treat your headspace, your subconscious mind, you need to treat that space like it is the VIP area of the most high profile club that you can possibly think of. It's inside of you. And you need to have a VIP area where you only let certain energies into that area. And really the only way that you can control what comes in to you is by controlling the content you consume, by the music you listen to, by the people you choose to hear. Once you start to have authority over what it is that you are listening to, that's when your inner world and your outer world can really experience an up-leveling, because everything you're listening to is just going in there. Unless you bring a bouncer into your VIP area and you have security over this beautiful inner world that you have. It's so important to keep that clear. And so as it's become more and more clear in my experience, I've been able to witness these, I think they're like plays. They're these little plays that are going on inside of me. Like right now, it's, yes, the outer world experience of my camera and this film setup, the lighting and everything that I have set up here. There's the inner play as well. The play of the lines being given to me. They're coming from somewhere, right? I'm channeling information right now from myself, so it happens to be, which most people wouldn't call this channeling because it's just me talking about my own life, but I would call it channeling because I'm channeling from within me. Lines are being given to me by my brain, by the way that I know how to use my language, by the memories that I'm choosing to bring into my awareness to aid with me telling this story. If I didn't have this memory, this part of my brain working in alliance with me, I wouldn't be able to be here telling this story. Pretty magical, isn't it? The brain and the body and how we share information and how we speak and how we hold space for one another. It's beautiful. I want to get to the paragliding, and I know you guys want to hear it, so I'm going to get back on track with the story. We're always on track. There is no off track, just so you know. The next morning, I'm in a daze. I'm basically hypnotized because there is not a thought in my mind as I'm putting on the exact outfit that matches the vision, the exact shoes that were in my vision. Remember how I told you the night before I got a vision of me running? I was putting on the outfit that I saw in the vision. It really works if you imagine something before you fall asleep, you will wake up doing that thing very easily and naturally. It's science. I won't go into the science today because I want to get to the fun part of the story, but maybe in another video, if you guys are interested, I can cover the science of all of that. I am obsessed with it. But anyways, I've got my running outfit on, I've got my shoes, I've got my music, I've got my phone, I've got everything I need. I put some money in my wallet. An important part of this story, which is the reason why the paragliding was free, I did not have a lot of money at this time in my journey. I was running low, and yeah, that's just the reality of what was happening. So I put a little bit of money in my little fanny pack, and I was ready, on my way out the door. I'm starting my run. It's awesome, actually, and I actually have videos of this run because I was kind of sort of vlogging my journey, and it was nice to just make some videos and document what was going on. And yeah, so a lot of stuff happened on the run. I'm gonna run past those details and get to the part where I am almost to the city. I'm about probably like less than half a mile about to be in the city, and there's this beautiful spot where it's a hill that overlooks the city, and the city is right on the water. This is Vlor, Albania, and it's right on the water, and it's just this beautiful, beautiful spot. I decide to stop, and as I'm looking out into the abyss of environment, reality, there is a person with a paraglider flying in the sky, and I see them, and instantly I hear in my awareness, I am going to go paragliding for free today. I hear that, and I'm like, interesting, okay. And it definitely sounded kind of egoic. Like, first of all, I've studied that the ego mind is the I that we say that we are, the vision of who we are, and the labels and the self. And this seemed very selfish. English. This seemed very egoic. I'm gonna go paragliding for free today. Who do I think I am? But I heard it kind of outside of me and inside of me at the same time, but it was very confident, very sure, and I just said, okay, interesting. I wanted to go paragliding, yes, but I wasn't dying to go. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, I want to go paragliding. It was just like, it'd be cool if I did, but like, if I didn't, I'm not gonna be upset about it. I continue on my run. I'm on the street that is where the gelato is. So I'm very close and I'm still focused on going to get gelato because that was in the vision and that was the whole plan. I see now in my path this woman that is packing up her glider. She's the one who taught me that it's called a glider. You don't call them paragliders, apparently. So she taught me that it's just called a glider. So she's packing up her glider, and I almost don't talk to her because there was this inner dialogue that she might not speak English, and I almost listened to that, and I almost was like, maybe I should just keep going with the gelato. But I chose to talk to her. She spoke English. We had an amazing conversation. We clicked instantly. She said that it would be a great idea for me to go on a tandem flight. She was saying that she was in a course and her instructor was the person that would end up giving me the tandem flight. But anyways, so yeah, we introduced. The guy mentioned that it was 80 euros, and I was like, I cannot pay that. And then he said, you can pay in gold. And I said, I don't have that either. And he was just like, no, seriously, it's fine. Like, you're excited to be here. You're happy to be here. Go ahead. And I did feel kind of bad about it, but he kept reassuring me, no, I love to do this, and you're so happy to be here, and I'm happy to give this to you. It's a gift. Don't worry. And it was really sweet. And so I was in a van with a group of people going paragliding, riding all the way up a mountain in Albania, looking at wild horses and seeing the view from this beautiful mountain, connecting with amazing people. The experience of paragliding itself, effortless, fantastic, wonderful bliss. You are floating in the sky. One of the most beautiful experiences I've ever had in my life, and I wouldn't have had it if I wasn't open to listening to my inner voice. Notice how it does get a little complicated because for me, in my personal experience in this story, the inner voice that said, I will go paragliding for free today, and the inner voice that was saying, oh, don't talk to that girl, she might not speak English, they were very similar. So when I suggest listen to your inner voice, I simply mean listen. Listen to your inner voice, not follow your inner voice blindly or always follow your inner voice. You must remember you are the one listening to the voice within. The one that listens to the voice within is the one that makes the choices. It's not the voice within itself that is making these choices. If it was the voice within itself that was making these choices, we would be like animals, not making any conscious decisions. I'm thinking that possibly these voices, these impulses, these ideas may possibly come from the subconscious mind. And through the meditation, the years of meditation I've done, I can now hear my subconscious mind. And I didn't have any idea of any sort of inner voice before meditation was part of my daily experience. So it could be that this is the voice of the subconscious mind, and my conscious mind is simply receiving these voices and deciding when and how and if to listen. So I encourage you to take some time in your day today. Start with just 3 minutes or maybe 5 or 10 or 20. Set a timer, what you feel called to do. Listen to your inner voice, see what happens. Really, all of us need to keep living our lives, and we need to experience life because you never know if you can or can't or should or shouldn't listen to your inner voice unless you try it and see what happens. You could argue that I was meant to have that gelato that day, and I should have followed the vision. But the funny thing is, when I was with the people that were paragliding, we actually passed the gelato place in the van, and we stopped there and we didn't get gelato, but we got a macaroon and a dessert from this place that I wanted to go to. It all ended up happening. The vision of the gelato, the paragliding, the solo travel journey. The inner voice is very powerful and very strong. And another thing I've noticed in my journey of listening to my inner voice that I believe is important: vibration. The vibration that you are holding, meaning the emotional energy that your body is tuned to, will directly impact what your inner voice is delivering to the self that you are. So as you are experiencing your inner voice, you never have to experience it in a certain way. You can actually calibrate or tone or shift your inner voice the same way. I know you might have heard this metaphor before, the radio dial. You can change the frequency of your being, and as you change your frequency, you're able to shift into different types of guidance, different voices, different energies, different ideas, because where you are on a vibrational level is where your inner voice will be as well. So your inner voice is also a great indicator of where you are vibrationally. By listening to yourself, you can tell what kind of state you're in. You can tell if maybe you need to take better care of yourself. Maybe you need more sleep. Maybe you need to change your diet. Maybe you need this. Maybe you need that. Listening to yourself is the key to knowing what it is that the body wants or needs. And you can always change any aspect of the self that you are. You have full control. You have full inner and outer authority of who it is that you become while you experience this life on earth. I have a few notes about this story that I wrote this morning, and I want to move through these notes as well. The main idea of this video, which might possibly be the title of this video, is to stop labeling and analyzing your inner voice and just listen to it. Please, daily silent meditation with a timer. It will change your world. Stop trying to figure out, is this the ego? Is this the higher self? Is this spirit guide? Is this alien from this dimension? Just listen. Just listen to what's going on inside of you. Don't analyze it. I mean, if you want to analyze it, if you truly feel called to analyze yourself, do it. You can do whatever you want. I give you permission to follow your inner analytical needs if you feel the need. But I honestly feel just listening is so important. And as you get used to listening to yourself, you'll know when to follow yourself and when to maybe talk back to yourself. And you say, with the paragliding story, with the inner voice that was telling me she might not speak English, I could, talk back to that inner voice and say, well, why don't I just try to ask and try to talk to her and see if she does speak English? Because sometimes our inner voice is in a protective mode and it wants to keep us safe. So that's when you'll find the inner voice is anticipating reality. Like my story, where my inner voice was saying, that woman might not speak English. You're gonna bother her. Don't talk to her. That was my protective voice. That was my voice coming in and saying, she might hurt you with her words, which is the silliest thing that we can get afraid of what other people would say to us. But I was afraid for a moment of what this woman was going to say and if she was going to speak English or not. And there was a stronger part of me, thankfully, that won the battle and said to the self, well, if she doesn't speak English, she'll tell me she doesn't speak English and I'll move on with my day. Thankfully, I decided to speak to her and she did speak English, and we had an amazing, enlightening conversation, and I got to go fly in the sky. So, oh my gosh, and I didn't even tell you guys about, there was more to this story, more blessings that came through from the people that I connected with, but that's for that would make this video so long. But anyways, As the woman that I met that day told me, she told me that by talking to her, I opened up a doorway. I opened up a doorway full of many opportunities. And you never know what doorways are open to you beyond the fear that exists within you. And as you choose to step through more doorways that show you that the fear inside of you is not real at all, that there's not much in this world that you need to protect yourself from. There are things to be protected from, but there's really not much. There's not many wild animals running around that we need to protect ourselves from. There's not much. We live in a relatively safe community, most of us do. And for myself, it's a safe environment. So when you catch yourself trying to protect yourself from something that someone could possibly say, or embarrassment or judgment, rejection, things like that that only hurt our small self inside, I invite you to challenge those parts of you to grow and to change and evolve, to learn to guide you in different ways, to guide you into being bold, to guide you into being strong. Because after that experience that I had with that woman, I think I'm a little bit less afraid to approach strangers in foreign countries, because if they don't speak English, they will tell you they don't speak English in their language, and you'll know. And if they do speak English, they'll speak English to you. There's not very many bad things that can happen from talking to a stranger. There's a few, but there's a lot more good that can come from connecting with someone that you feel called to connect with. The other thing that I wanted to share, which is a completely different story, which gives you a little bit more of a background of my relationship with my inner voice, has to do with when I first woke up, and for a moment I'm considering doing this in another video, and I'm going to deny that request because I think it should just go in this video, because if I made separate videos for all my different ideas, I would have so many videos. So we're going to continue on in this video because it goes. So when I was 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, no inner voice, none. I call them my zombie years, those years, because I didn't have any sort of inner voice, no connection to my heart. I was just listening to what the people around me were saying and following their suggestions for the trajectory and direction of my life. So that was how life was going. And I awakened to the presence of my inner voice, my guidance, my heart, my higher self. I awakened to hear that voice when I started working out. The gym really woke me up and made me realize that there was an absolute monster living inside of me, because anytime I looked in the mirror when I was in the gym by myself alone, even when I had music on, I could hear inside of me, "You look horrible. That body's disgusting. That body's gross. What's wrong with your body?" All of this inner dialogue, and it was suppressed and unresolved trauma from when I was bullied when I was younger, when a lot of kids at school thought I was anorexic and they were calling me all these different names and saying all this stuff about my body. And I started to say the same things about my body because I wanted to fit in, and I didn't want them to think that I wanted my body to be so skinny on purpose. So I just agreed with all the kids and was like, yeah, my body is super skinny, what the heck? And so that was my story of that, and all of that was living inside of me and came back out when I was alone with myself in the gym. This is another important thing. Trauma that lives inside of the body finds a way to come back to the surface because it wants to be healed, it wants to be released. And I've witnessed a lot of people in my reality not wanting to meditate because their meditations are not quiet, they are not peaceful, they are stressful, they are reminded by things that hurt them in the past. And the reason why you have trauma or bad memories or just things that you don't really want to think about, the reason why those things are coming up to you when your eyes are closed, when you're still in meditation, is because your body is noticing that you're relaxed. Your nervous system is saying, oh, great. We are finally in a safe space. We're alone. It's quiet. They're listening. I remember this and I remember this and this bothered me and that bothered me. It's your ego, your mind, your inner voice, your higher self that hasn't evolved yet. It's the voices of all of that energy is coming up into your space because you're in a safe space, because your nervous system is regulated, because you can finally address that energy. And it won't be like that forever if you address it and if you sit with it and if you be with it. And I don't know how I knew to do this at the age of 21 as a college student who didn't really know too much. I was studying psychology, so maybe that had something to do with it. I had the instinct to listen. I listened to all those thoughts, and maybe it was because I remembered those same thoughts from when I was about 8 years old. I chose to listen and I chose to be with myself, and the gym became a meditation for me. It became a very sacred time for myself, and it was very important for me. I don't know why. It was important for me to hear positive messages about my body when I looked in the mirror. I didn't like that when I looked in the mirror, I heard these negative voices, and I wanted to listen to them, to understand myself, because I knew that it was coming from me and I wanted to understand myself. I chose to meet myself with love and understanding. And to anyone that's watching this video right now, if you have any sort of negative part of you that says things to you and you can hear it within you, I hope that you have the space and the energy to meet that part of you with love and acceptance and hear it out and be with it. And if it's a voice that just doesn't seem to want to evolve, to know when it's time to let go of that voice and take it out of your space. I feel that there are certain parts of the self that speak up that need to be brought to the surface and connected with and integrated with, and then there's other parts that just fall away, that just don't choose evolution, so they don't come with us, and for whatever reason we let go of those parts. Discernment is important. Trusting yourself and honoring yourself is very important in that sacred inner work. Back to the story. I'm awakening. Voice, inner voice becomes kind and beautiful. Gym is healing. I get to a point where I get to some spiritual teachings, and I'm not going to say who the spiritual teachings were because it was a few years ago. I don't know what exactly I was consuming. I was probably watching a lot of YouTube videos, and it's probably a mixture of all different types of teachers. I somehow got the idea that the ego was bad, that it needed to be gone or fixed or something or whatever. And so I remember when I was meditating, getting an image of this room. There was this version of me in the room that I could see, almost like a little doll. And I told that part of me, I said, ego, it's time to take a nap. And I watched that part of me go into bed and go to sleep. And I opened my eyes and came out of my meditation and started talking about how my ego is taking a nap. The next few years, while my ego was napping, I was so lost and so confused, lacking personality. It was almost like the beginning, you know how I talked about in the beginning where before college I was like my zombie years and I would just listen to what everyone else said? It was kind of like that again, but worse, because I had tasted what it tasted like to hear my inner voice and to have guidance from within, and then it was gone all of a sudden and I didn't understand why. I didn't connect the dots at the time, and again, I don't remember what exactly gave me the idea that I needed to tell my ego to stop sleeping and to wake up, that I decided to do that one day and had that idea and had that epiphany of maybe that one time that I saw that version of myself go asleep into a bed and never wake up. Maybe that's why I don't have a very strong relationship with myself right now. Maybe I should wake that part up. So again, inner work is very delicate. There are no mistakes. You can't be off track. It's all part of the journey. It's all part of the experience. But to save you time and energy and to give you more time connecting with who you really are and hearing your real authentic voice, inner work is very delicate. You need to be mindful and careful with what it is that you visualize and what it is that you affirm for yourself, because it really will happen. The ego is a part of your personality. There's no part of the self that is bad. There's no part of this world that is innately bad. We all come from love. We all come from light. We know this. And telling a part of yourself to go to sleep and never wake up, in my experience, in my story, it was not a good move. It was not a good move. So I hope that all the parts of you that are full of light and here to express are awake and alive. And I hope that you can hear every single part of you that has something valuable, inspirational, bright, powerful to share with you. And I hope that on the days where a part of you shares something with you that is scary or sad or anger inducing, I hope that you have the space to witness that part of you and that you have the wisdom that you need in order to know how to navigate those situations, those delicate moments with the inner being that you are. Another note that I wrote is that it's all your higher self. I love that philosophy. I mentioned that in the beginning of the video, and some of you might disagree with it, which is okay. I might disagree with it as a future version of me that listens to this video. For now, I do enjoy the perspective that a egoic part of me or a part of me that is moving through trauma is just a less evolved higher self. It's my higher self. It's my spirit. It's my soul. Just hasn't gone through the phases of evolution that the other parts of me have gone through, that are more wise and that have more abilities to connect and tune in. And I find simplicity, comfort, and ease in thinking that way. Perhaps a label that could be useful is higher self and lower self. Maybe you like higher self and ego. I believe when it comes to all of this theoretical stuff, that the most important thing is that you're choosing words, labels, to describe your experience that serve you. That when you speak about your own experience with your inner self, with your mind, that you're not speaking in a way to please others or to be right or to be correct. That your main concern is to honor yourself and to choose what feels comfortable and to choose what helps you have the highest level of understanding that you possibly can when it comes to navigating the awareness that you are. There is no right way to describe our experience. That's why we're all different. That's why we all have our own mind and our own body. We're meant to have our own adventure with our own set of tools. We share a mind, we share a brain, we share a heart, yet we are all having vastly unique experiences with the parts of us that are the same, yet we are given a completely different experience of those parts. It's a fascinating, beautiful part of human existence that I feel like over the years has dwindled slightly, with all of us trying to be right or trying to fit in. And if we are afraid of standing out, we'll all end up being exactly the same someday. And I don't think this phase in human evolution is about that. I believe that this phase in human evolution is about shining your unique light and sharing the language that you feel inspired to share when it comes to talking about your inner world and choosing labels for who it is that you are that feel empowering and feel good to you. If one day the word hair bothers you and you want to say blue bop to describe this soft stuff that's in your hand, do it. Change the language, change the words. Be free to do what inspires you, and don't worry about gaining approval from others, because what does that approval do for you at the cost of abandoning the true heart expression that has been destined to come through as you? Oh man. The last part of this note. Okay, I promised that I would share this. And if you watched this whole entire thing and you listened to all of this, you earned it. You earned knowing this about me. This is something that I've never shared with anyone before. You're the first to know about this. So I'm putting together a story of who I was before I was conceived, before I came to life, because I do have some memories and I'm going to share them with you. And I also have memories of after. So I know this might sound crazy to some people. I know there are some people listening that might not think this is crazy at all. I'm hoping that I attract a lot of people that are just excited to hear something like this and realize that I'm not here to be right. I'm not trying to get the answers right. I'm just witnessing what it is that's within me that I know to be true because I'm witnessing it within me. And that doesn't necessarily mean that it's right or that it's true, but it does mean that it is my reality. So I also wanted to add a disclaimer that this could change. More memories or memories of a different kind could come to me about my existence pre-Christina and post-Christina. So who knows? Anyways, there was this yoga session where I floated up out of my body like it just felt like this. It was like doo-doo-doo-doo. I was mist. Like I was a sparkly, ethereal mist. I went everywhere in all directions, through all space and time. I could be anything, I could be anyone. I remember wanting to become Beyonce. I just wanted to go into her body as the mist. Like I'm misting it out over here. And I remember that. And then I remember hearing, like from this black, dark space that had all these stars around it, a ding and a kind, soothing voice saying, "When you're ready to come back to your body, start to wiggle your toes and wiggle your fingers." And I remember not really wanting to come back, and I remember being able to actually witness my yoga body on my yoga mat in the yoga room. And I remember kind of bringing my awareness back out and seeing this whole galaxy. And then just like whooshing back into my body. And it was then that I wrote one of the most amazing things I've ever written. It's actually in my first book that I ever published called Your Body is the Vessel for the Light That You Are. It's available on Amazon. I'll link it here below if you're interested in reading it, which you probably are if you're on my wavelength. It's a very cool book. All of it is channeled and through my higher self and my lower self and, you know, all that. So it's a beautiful piece of my soul. I rush back into my body, and it's then that I understand that as pure consciousness, we can go anywhere, we can do anything, we can be anyone. The most exciting and alluring and highest calling for place for us to be is here in this body, in this mind, experiencing this. And that is a feeling that I will always carry with me and I will always remember. And I have that piece of writing that describes the experience that I had, that is the introduction to the book that I'm telling you about, that I brought into this world to share that feeling with others, because I felt that if other people knew that feeling and experienced that feeling, that depression would end, that anxiety would end, that the self-loathing and the self-hate would be chipped away at. Because to know that you are pure consciousness and to know that you could be anyone and do anything, I was embodying Beyonce out there in space, and I chose to come back and be her, you, us. We are choosing this on a very, very intentional high level that most of our brains don't comprehend. And with our busy worlds and our lives, we often don't have the time and energy to stop and comprehend it. And that ends today, because time is mine. I like to say that all the time. I got it from a song by a woman named Michelle. I don't know her last name right now, but it was on a Bob Proctor tape. I'm gonna link that in the description box too. It's a song that's like, time is mine, time is mine. That changed my life too. I shared so many life-changing things today. And right when I said that, I saw 5555. The time of change is upon us. Big change. One of the biggest changes is that I'm sharing everything and I'm seeing myself as valuable. And I'm really grateful that you can just witness that, because we all have valuable things to share, and it's about finding the way that we feel most excited and inspiring to share, and doing it and taking action despite what we believe about our innate value. It's not true, because we're all equally worthy. We all bring something different to the table. We all have a different function. Mine happens to be speaking and storytelling, and yours could be something completely different. Yet we hold the same value, the same worth. So, missed. I believe before my body was created inside the womb of a human woman, that my consciousness was a pure mist floating around in space. And I've experienced other meditations of traveling as this pure consciousness like state, and it's very magical and wonderful, and it gives a lot of clarity and answers a lot of questions. You can answer any question inside of yourself. That's a whole other topic to get to. I might make another video about that. I could put a note about it. It's this thing from Einstein that I really I kind of want to share it here, but I'm nervous because I don't know how much space is. Okay, anyways, back to this. So there's me, Christina, is happening. And then this other theory. Okay, so this is a theory, and I know I'm not saying this for a fact, it's just an idea that I'm playing with. What if after I die, okay, what if after my human body dies, what if my soul ascends into the light body of an archangel? And what if I'm an archangel and I'm guiding myself right now? And what if on my spirit guide team, because spirit is timeless, we exist in a realm beyond time and space as pure spirit, what if I'm there on my spirit team guiding myself? And what if I get such clear, direct guidance because there's a future me that's being an archangel, that's guiding me? And I know that that sounds kind of ego-driven. I know, but it doesn't stop me from thinking it. It's an idea. I could be totally wrong. There could be no future timeless me. I don't know what else I would become though, because I feel like that's what I would choose to become. And if that's what I would choose to become, then that's probably what I choose to become. It's probably what happens. I believe that I talk to myself from the future all the time. I totally do. Because I do. That's the thing. I think back to my past self and tell my past self things that my past self actually heard in the moment. So as my future self, I'm realizing, oh, I'm guiding myself. And maybe there's a undead version of me that is pure spirit, that is vibing as an archangel because she did such a good job in her human experience. And maybe she's out there. Maybe she's here watching this right now as she's reviewing her life because she's dead and she misses being in this body, and she probably misses making YouTube videos. She can't make a YouTube video now that she's an archangel, but she can guide the body that she used to be by making this video. Wow. I cannot wait to meditate later today. All right, for the people that really love what I bring, the Einstein thing that I was going to tell you about. Einstein did this thing when he was stuck on a question. He would write down his question, and then he would hold something kind of heavy in his hand, like this pen, and he would sit back in his chair and fall asleep, and then he would get to, there's a state of your brain right before you fall asleep called theta state. That's when the doorway between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind is open, which I feel like I drop into theta state constantly because the doorway between my subconscious and conscious mind is open. Like, I feel it. It's possible. But anyways, he's just in this state, and then his body starts to go limp. Maybe I don't hit theta state while I'm awake. I don't know. I'm not a scientist about this, so who knows? I don't know. I feel like there's a part of me that likes to think I'm advanced in some kind of special way, and like, I don't know what to do with that part of me because it helps me be confident, but I also sometimes listen to myself and I'm like, you can dial it down a little bit, right? I'm good. Anyways, I'm not really even being serious anymore. I've been talking for a whole hour, so basically the question would come to Einstein because he would be so deep within his own self that he would know the answer, and he would be with the subconscious mind and with all the workings of the universe within his mind, that he would know the answer, and then that's when his body would fall asleep too, and because he had the heavy thing in his hand, it would drop and make a noise, and then he could wake up right away and he could write down the answer that he needed. Einstein taught this to the artist Salvador Dali, and Salvador Dali used this to paint a lot of his paintings. He would fall asleep, get to that beautiful subconscious conscious mind where the minds are communicating, and be free. Yeah. I tried this once. I tried it immediately after hearing about it. I tried it when I was in college, and the question I asked was, what do you want me to create? And the answer that came through was create yourself. It's very interesting. So, very freeing too. I've noticed that in my life a lot, that a lot of the questions that I ask, can I do this? Should I do that? Do what you want to do is the answer that I get a lot, which is so beautiful to hear. Should I do this? Should I do that? It's up to you. You decide. Beautiful. I think we're meant to be a conscious mind. We're meant to be an ego. We're meant to be whatever word you want to describe the self that is operating this body, the pilot that's inside the plane. We're meant to be weird and make mistakes and question ourselves and doubt ourselves. It's all part of the experience. So wherever you are, you're in a good spot. You're in probably one of the best spots ever because you just got to watch an entire hour of me. So how awesome is that? What a great privilege. Start a gratitude list and put me at the top of it. Ari Star. And I am excited to see you in another video. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you just watched like a whole hour of me sharing. We bonded. We bonded hardcore. What did you eat for lunch today? Like, give me a fact about you. I want to know. Like, wow, we're like best friends. We seriously are. Did you know I wanted to do this for 4 years? For 4 years, I was thinking about this. 4 years of thinking. Don't wait to do something that you know that you truly want to do, okay? And promise yourself that if anything gets in the way of what you're truly passionate about, that you'll always choose yourself, that you'll always choose your passions, that you'll always continue forward. Your heart matters. Your desires matter. The only reason you want something is because it's possible and because it's happening. You wouldn't have something on your heart, some wish to fulfill, if it were impossible for it to be fulfilled. The universe isn't cruel like that, okay? Everything you desire is possible, and everything you dream of can come true. Focus on the good things. Focus on the visions. Listen to yourself. Listen to your heart. Spend time getting to know and understand what's going on in there. It's important. It can guide you to your greatest experiences, and it can also awaken you to the darkest parts of this experience too. It's all for your highest good, and it's all love. Always remember who you truly are, and continue to have fun as you experience this life. I'll see you in another video, okay? Bye. I need a cool sign off. I can't just say bye. I'm gonna think about it. It probably has something to do with shooting stars, like blast off. It's not gonna be that, but it'll come to me when it's meant to be. Keep shining is coming to me, but like, keep shining. Sparkle star. I don't know. For now, it's just bye, I guess. Stars, shine on.